kind of having too much fun with the radio. The music, I kind of want to just keep listening to that, but we do have to start, don't we?
I think that's the perfect music for us. I love it.
Well, hey, welcome to PrepperCon Radio, everybody. You are listening to Shane and Scott. Shane, the prepared guy, Scott, Mr. PrepperCon here. Mm-hmm. And, man, we're just glad to be here. We've had our Independence Day celebration this week and morning. Morning because we're losing a lot of our freedoms. We're losing a lot of our independence. We've become very complacent as a nation, and we need to get back to being patriots. We need to get back to being more active and more involved in our government to reduce the size of government, first of all, but secondly, to fix the problems that we've elected.
And I'm glad that you said Independence Day and not 4th of July. Happy 4th of July, everyone. No,
I hate that.
It's Happy Independence Day. And some of the things I watched over this holiday weekend that I've seen before, one in particular, the video clip I'm sure you've seen, that America is not the greatest country in the world anymore. And when I first saw that, it was obviously quite impactful. As I'm sure it is for many of you as well. And I watched that again, rewatched it, and I say, you know what? This isn't true. America is still the greatest country in the world. And maybe not for the same reasons of industry and growth and such that it used to be in the early to mid-1900s. But it's still the only place where we have God's blessing that we will be safe and protected and thrive if we obey God's commandments.
Absolutely.
If it's the opposite, you better get out of the country.
Absolutely.
You better move to a different country, because I hear a lot of people saying, you know what, it sounds like it's time, especially since Hillary did not get any charges on her, that, it's time to move, time to get out of the country. Sorry, friends, it's not. This is the best place to be, period.
This is truly the last refuge, and this is home. At the end of the day, this is home for all of us.
Yep. Now, if you want to move,
protect our home.
If you want to move to the middle of nowhere in like Canada or in the middle of Russia somewhere where you'll never see another human being, okay, that's might be a good option. But if you're going to be among the people, if you're going to live.
Did you say Siberia?
Hey,
how is that an option? That's worse.
I know.
Than like northern Idaho or Montana.
It's a huge place.
Dakota.
It's a gigantic place, and it's a great place to get lost.
You're going to get eaten by a bear.
You just might.
You just might. America is amazing. I love it. It was fun to see everyone running around with their flags on and their colors, and I love it, but I hate it. I get emotional because people are wearing something they don't fully understand. Mm-hmm. And I think we need to get back to the educational point where people are learning and becoming self-taught and becoming self-aware and understanding really what's going on. You just brought up a good point. Before we came on air, we were talking about the latest executive order that Shane wanted to bring up.
Yeah, and I'm not sure exactly how new this is, but I saw this come across one of my many Facebook posts. It is, let me find my notes here.
So he vetted it out. He went and looked at the executive order page.
Okay, so it is EPA. It's concerning the EPA. Executive Order number 12656, entitled to develop for national security emergencies guidance on acceptable emergency levels of nuclear radiation. I know we've talked about nuclear radiation here in the past and what we should be doing about it. But essentially what this executive order does, it raises the acceptable level of our exposure to nuclear radiation, whether it be iodine-131 or strontium-90, to much higher levels. Where right now, the current level, say this is something in your drinking water, say if your drinking water gets contaminated, the current limit is what's called 1 picocuries. It's called picocuries, and the current acceptable level of, say, in drinking water is 3 picocuries. And who knows if that's really even acceptable? I think no amount of radiation in your water is acceptable, although there is always a natural level of radiation.
Right.
Because there's those elements are in the earth.
It's interesting that all of a sudden our government's telling us, you can have 10,000
and that's exactly what it says.
Of radiation. You're fine.
Yeah. So in an emergency, they can declare, okay, if there's some kind of nuclear emergency, they can, if the level of iodine 131 in your drinking water reaches 10,350 picocuries, where right now it's 3, if it reaches 10,350, they can still say it's safe to drink. That's all that this executive order does. It raises those acceptable limits.
That's what it is.
Exactly.
We're going to kill you faster. Thank you.
And this strontium 90 goes from 8 picocuries to 7,400 picocuries is acceptable in a nuclear emergency because they say so.
Yikes.
Yeah.
Oh, what are we going to do? We got to be more
exactly. So what are we going to
responsible.
do? Get yourself, and I'm not selling any particular product or brand, but that big Berkey water filter with the arsenic and fluoride elements in there.
Mm-hmm.
Those will take those elements out.
Fantastic.
So
you know, you can even stop by the station here. We're on Redwood Road and about 103rd South. Stop by, pick up. We've got these little radiation cards. You can actually see what levels of exposure you're being exposed to.
Okay,
and
not okay.
Yeah, it's kind of the oh crap, get out of here versus okay. Grab a couple for your family. They're great to have. They're free. So stop on by and grab those. If you want to join in the conversation today, you can get us at all of our
Screens are
gone.
down.
Woohoo! I
Two-
used another phone number. All right, we're going to come back to that. Follow us on Twitter.
Let me pull it up here. We should have us memorized
Oh
by now.
my gosh. This is a fiasco.
801-254-5855. And I would like to talk to you guys. I know there's a lot of great experience out there. We're talking about SHTF Fitness or health and how it applies to being prepared for emergencies. And I always like to revert back and talk about how in order to be prepared for the future, we have to look to the past. You hear that from me a lot. So I want to talk to all those, or some of you who have grown up on farms or ranches, and tell me how life is different on how that affects your fitness and health, is living and working hard every day with your, whatever it may be, digging trenches or cleaning the stalls or whatever you did, working in the fields, and how much that really is different. So if you have those experiences, please call in. I'd love to talk to you.
One of the things I like to do is I look at fitness and I look at being prepared in a couple different categories. Speed and endurance, mobility.
Mm-hmm.
How quickly can you move? How quickly can you get from point A to point B? And how long can you do that for? Right.
Exactly.
Then I also look at power. Do I have the strength necessary to do the things I need to do? For example, can I pry open a door with a crowbar? Do I have that power?
Lift a car off someone who maybe gets trapped.
Calm down, Captain Marvel. Can I do something to get from point A to point B, and then can I get rid of the obstacles in the way? Can I rescue someone that needs to be rescued?
Exactly. Here's the perfect example I saw this last Wednesday as I flew into Orange County. Of course, when your flight gets delayed and you have to have a connecting flight, what do you see most people doing? Running across the airport, trying to get to their next flight on time. And it can be quite funny, quite hilarious, because you can tell these people have either never run a day in their life, or it's been a long, long time. And so that's really what I think becomes important, is what can you do in the moment.
Mm-hmm. I think let me go back to the rest of the list here too. So we talked about endurance and speed. We talked about power. The last one is flexibility and mobility, and all of it goes back to what are you doing daily to stay in shape? Mm-hmm. What are you doing daily to stay functional? We had a guest a while ago, Matt, Dr. Hansen, with Freedom to Move, and he talked about the importance of core strength. He talked about all of his videos, all of his entire product line is to help people maintain and improve their core strength, because as soon as you lose your core, your functionality of your body is gone. And the perfect example of that is just a few weeks ago, my wife, she slipped a disc because she pulled a muscle, it slipped a disc. We had to take her to the hospital.
Yeah.
We had to get pain meds. Let's look at a grid down scenario, SHTF scenario. Where are you going to go? What are you going to do? That person's down for 6 weeks trying to rehab, and then you've got to go to physical therapy. Well, now you're going to have to do all of that at home, all of that on your own. Yeah. What are you doing to keep your core strength up? And that was a huge eye-opener for me, and that's why I'm like, holy cow, let's look at my situation. Yep. I've allowed myself to get fat. Guys, if you're looking at the YouTube video of this, You can see me,
But
right now I'm 281 pounds.
but he looks good.
We'll agree to disagree. I'm 281 pounds, guys. That's a lot of weight to lug around in survival situations. My frame, ideally, depending on what chart you want to look at, one chart tells me I should be 185.
Yeah,
Well, I've had my body fat tested. My lean mass, before you start stacking on fat, is 189 pounds.
Okay.
So I shouldn't be below that,
Right, so at
because
20%.
as soon as I go below that, then all of a sudden I
You lose
have
muscle.
0%, negative 3% body fat. That's not going to work.
No.
So you need to know what's where you feel the healthiest. For me, that's around 215 to 225. That's the
what I was going
ideal.
to say. You should be a lean 225, 20% body fat,
Yeah.
something like that.
And it's funny because a lot of the different survival instructors I talk to talk about the importance of having some body fat, because that is a survival aspect.
Absolutely.
You can't get crazy fit and expect to be able to endure a long time. If you're working on, let's say you're a professional athlete and you've got the 3% body fat, right? You can't keep that up in a survival scenario.
It's very difficult to keep up in an everyday scenario to try and
Exactly.
keep. Really, from what I understand with, say, these fitness gurus, fitness experts, which we are not, and I think that's a good thing, because in many cases that we're not particular experts at certain things, because we're not brainwashed into believing a particular belief or such. So from what I understand is that 8% is a very good lean number. Now if you're competing and you're a bodybuilder, and I'm talking about men, then 4% is just ultra ripped and just super lean. Although I have brothers, their natural body fat either doesn't register or they're like 3%, because they're just naturally very lean that way, which, how would that be?
Yeah.
I'm not blessed with that, if you call it a blessing.
It's a blessing and a curse, I think, depending on what you're doing with it and what you're using it for. It's funny, I think back at the different TV shows that are about survival, right? You watch Doomsday Preppers. 80% of them are obese, on Doomsday Preppers. Not a good example for us. And then I look at my favorite TV show, which is Alone. Last year's winner, Alan Kay, he lost, I think, 50 pounds while he was out there.
On the show, wow.
But he had 50 pounds he could lose. Everyone that's on these shows, Naked and Afraid, Survivor, which is one of my wife's favorites. You watch those shows, you watch what people start at to where they end, they're going to lose a lot of body mass. That's just natural. Your body is adapting, and it's going to eat your muscle. It's going to eat your fat. It's going to eat what it has available. So if you're not feeding it, that's what you're going to be living off of, is yourself. That's why you can typically only go, roughly 3 weeks is what the average medical professional is going to tell you. You can go about 3 weeks without food. Water is a lot more important. You got the 3-hour rule. 3-day rule, 3-hour rule.
I drink every 3 hours.
I drink every 3 hours. But you've got the 3-day rule with water. But when it comes to having that level of fitness, having the level of reserves you need, I jokingly say I've got a 4-week supply. Really, what can I do with what I have, and how healthy is it? What have I been stocking up on?
Absolutely. So I think you need to look at what your goal is, what you're trying to achieve. If you're trying to run mountains, then you're going to probably have a much lower body fat just naturally by doing that. If you're trying to live through SHTF, trying to live through a famine, you're probably better to count on having a little bit more body fat. And honestly, for us men, 20% is still healthy.
Absolutely.
Even up to 24, 25% is still healthy. But if you want to look good, I think 20% is still look good.
Still great.
Yeah.
Right now I'm at 32%. Now, I want everyone that's listening to kind of take out their piece of paper and pen and really figure out what's important to them as far as their fitness and their wellness. I talked about core strength. We're going to cut into a break here in a second. But you need to make sure you're doing something to take care of yourself and continually moving and staying in shape.
And that's something I'd like to get in the next segment here. It looks like we've got a break coming up here quickly. Let me just jump right into our sponsor here. This hour is sponsored by Survival Medical, the only first aid kit designed for long-term storage. Find out more at survival-medical.com.
We're talking fitness today, so stay tuned. We'll be right back. You're listening to PrepperCon Radio on K-Talk, AM 630. All right, welcome back to PrepperCon Radio. We're having fun talking about fitness, wellness, and as always, today's show is brought to you by Survival Medical. In addition to having the stuff that's going to save you when you're on the edge, when you've got an injury, when you need to recover from an accident when you're out in the middle of the woods trying to figure out what to do, can't find a hospital, you can always find your bucket if you have one. So go to survival-medical.com. Check it out. These guys have cracked the code on long-term storage for your medical gear. You can get a 20-year shelf life out of these products. They are awesome. I carry these myself. I've got a couple different kits in my car, my go bag, my get home bag, my bug out bag, my 72-hour kit, which I don't actually believe in 72-hour kits. I've got 96-hour kits, which is the minimum. But they're all 2-person kits. So make sure you've got your first aid taken care of.
Mine's a lifetime kit for Scott.
Yours a lifetime kit? I've got different bags for different occasions.
We're not talking about that today. So
it's like a tuxedo. Sometimes they got to wear a tuxedo.
Very good, absolutely.
Sometimes I got to wear flip-flops.
Good analogy.
Yep. Sometimes you're in the water, all you got is a swimsuit.
That's right.
So
sometimes you're in the shower and you're naked.
There you go. But you got to have a plan. So we're talking fitness. We're talking wellness. And during the break, we started talking about mindsets and skill sets. But we wanted to really get it back down to the basics today. If you're not getting up and doing something active for at least 30 minutes a day, we don't want you to just jump off the couch and go play basketball. You're going to roll ankles. You're going to cause more problems than you're going to get good out of what's happening. Start small. Start simple. Get up off the couch. Go walking around. Shane brought up a good point that just being up, standing up more during the day is actually better health for you.
Standing at your desk, standing while you're at a family or friend's house, instead of sitting, stand there. One thing I wanted to mention is, many of us who say, I need to get in shape. I'm going to go run 5 miles, or so I'm going to go run 2 miles because I used to run, because I'm a runner. That's what I do. And then you hurt yourself. You get shin splints, and then you can't do anything else.
Yeah,
so
then
like
you have to stop.
Exactly. Then you have to stop, and then you're back in the same place again. So, we're not, like I say, we're not fitness experts, but doing something is better than doing nothing. And so that something could be getting up out of your seat and standing instead of sitting.
We've got some good ideas on our Pinterest page too. If you follow Pinterest, go to Pinterest, go to PrepperCon. You can see our fitness board. We've got some good things in there. One of those, it's a really simple workout. One that I like. It's great to help get started again. But once you've done those walks, once you started adding weight to your walk, and maybe you hike with your bug out bag or a bag of lesser weight, just to get your body and your core strengthened, you can jump into this core workout. It's 30 jumping jacks, which is mostly core, 20 push-ups, focuses on chest and tons of core, 20 squats, that's all thighs, core, and butt, and then 30 crunches, core, 20 knee highs, core, 20 leg lifts, core, 1 minute plank, all core all day, 1 minute wall sit, and then you can repeat that as many times as you want.
And the beauty with any exercise is you can do it to your capability. You don't have to do a full deep squat. You don't have to do 20 push-ups all at once, because even I can do it, but it's only after I'm warmed up a little bit. And so that comes to a lot of other things I wanted to discuss. Is one of my favorite movies, I know I mentioned it, is Zombieland. Zombieland, rule number 1 is cardio. And then they also have rule number 18 is limber up. So stretching is very important before any kind of exercise. You don't hurt yourself. So I personally concentrate on a lot of stretching my major muscle groups every day. It feels good, and it helps me to prevent any kind of injury, especially before any strenuous exercise.
Absolutely. And the other thing I want to go back to is we talked about the original list. We talked about the things that you need to be focusing on: endurance, strength, mobility, flexibility. Another great one is, and you may laugh at me or you may not, but I love yoga and I love Pilates. I'm out of practice on both, and that's what I'm trying to get back into right now with my personal fitness goals, because they improve core strength and overall flexibility and mobility.
So they also focus on breathing.
Breathing.
Because that's one of the items on my short list is breathing, and I have particular breathing exercises that I practice. And if we have time, we can get into that, which I kind of don't think we're going to have time. But Scott and I were talking during the break a little bit about, okay, what's the number one thing we need to prepare with? And the first thing is, of course, our skills, our mind, our brains. That's the number one thing we need to do. And just by you listening to our broadcast every week, that is making a difference. I guarantee it's making a difference in you being prepared and doing something rather than nothing. But right up there, number 2 is definitely going to be fitness. Being fit is in my opinion, the number one, the best tool to have in your tool bag, in your bug out bag, is your personal fitness.
I think it's often the number one most overlooked thing.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Going back to the comment on the doomsday preppers, I see a lot of preppers in my day-to-day. I meet with a lot of people, but I also meet with a lot of just normal, everyday citizens who don't believe in prepping. And we're a fat society. Mm-hmm. We are an out-of-shape society. Yep. I think back at olden times, I go even farther back, think of the Spartans. Mm-hmm. Nobody had a career. They were all warriors first, and then they were craftsmen, farmers, and everything else.
But also those types of trades required physical activity instead of sitting in front of computer programming.
But the thing is that was the society's focus. And what is our society's focus now? Ease of life. And
simplicity and...
On demand.
Exactly.
Oh, I want to watch a movie. Well, download it on my phone. I want to go...
butt and watch a movie.
I'm hungry. Walk over to the fridge, and if it's not in the fridge, hop in the car and drive to Taco Bell or whatever. Yeah. We're not making food. We're not growing food. Exactly. We're just...
Which requires lots of hard work.
Yeah,
how difficult is it to go out in your backyard and turn over your dirt so you can get it ready to prepare? That's back-breaking work. How hard is it to, I got to cut this tree down. Sure, pull out the chainsaw and cut it down. Makes it real easy. But how many of you have gone out there with an axe and a handsaw and actually cut down a tree? And I'm not talking a small tree. I'm talking a 50-year-old tree. That is some seriously difficult work. Now, as I mentioned kind of at the first of the program, if you lived on a farm or a ranch, you probably did this kind of stuff regularly. So it may not seem as difficult for you, but us who work at a desk, who sit in our cars, who drive around, that kind of activity is very strenuous, and you can get hurt as well. So I have a few tips that I like to do and that's one thing I do is I do my own yard work. And with my lawnmower, I push it. I don't use the drive feature. I push it.
I go back and forth.
Yeah.
We've got a weird hill that...
Oh, yeah, you got a huge hill. You got a big hill.
I use it on the weird hill part, but other than that, I pretty much push it.
So doing those types of manual labor activities, although it may not be much fun, will definitely become fun. And that's another aspect I wanted to talk about as well, is when you're going out and playing sports or hiking or whatever, it's really only fun if you're if you're in shape to where you can do that activity. Otherwise, it becomes a pain. It becomes not fun. And I think the same thing holds true for prepping and survival during a difficult situation emergency, SHTF, when that comes along. And if you're fit, I'm not going to say you're going to enjoy it, but it's not going to be nearly as brutal or difficult or life-threatening if you're fit, if you're at least to some level of fitness. Not saying you do your go to the gym every single day and you're running and all that kind of stuff. That's not necessary. I'm saying do
functional fitness.
Functional fitness, exactly.
Everyday fitness. And it's funny because as we're talking about this, 2 years ago we had a snowstorm that hit here in Salt Lake City that people were admitted to hospital because of shoveling their snow.
Absolutely.
People were having heart attacks because of shoveling their snow. Shoveling snow. Yep.
It doesn't sound like... Keep in mind this was a lot more snow than usual.
It was a lot more than usual, but the functional fitness is lost.
Yep.
And that's the problem, is people, when we lose that functional fitness, yeah, great, we go push all this snow off our driveway and we burn 1,000 calories doing it, but we're also maxing out our heart and lungs capacity past what we've trained them to do. So if we're not training them now to do more, we're crushing ourselves. We're putting ourselves into a situation where that fight or flight moment's going to be the death of us.
Could very well be.
Absolutely. So I want you to think about that as you're looking at what you're doing, as you're looking at your desk in front of you, if you're listening at work, if you're driving down in your car. What's in your cup holder? Is it something that's good for you or something that's killing you slowly? When's the last time you got up and went for a walk, a hike? And you don't just have to go walk around your block. You can hop in the car, drive up the mountains. We've got so many beautiful areas. Go for a quick hike. There are so many easy hikes in the Salt Lake Valley.
Push yourself a little bit.
Yeah.
Not just on a flat surface. Get a little grade to it, and a little rough surface instead of an asphalt, or a concrete walking path.
Yep. Get out, get moving, involve your whole body, have some fun with it. Start challenging yourself on a daily basis. I've been doing this for 2 weeks. I'm not promoting any product. I'm not promoting any gym. I'm just promoting better preparedness through fitness. I've lost 4 pounds, almost 5 pounds, and that's great. I feel better, and my energy's increased. My alertness has increased. My vocabulary apparently hasn't increased. I keep stumbling on my words, but the beautiful thing is I feel better. I sleep better. And I wake up more refreshed every day because I'm more active during the day.
Now keep this in mind as well. Is think if you're fit and you're involved in an emergency and you're either rescuing someone or you're clearing debris or whatever, or it's a much more dangerous situation. If you are fit and you're going through this situation, then your mind is going to be much more clear than if you're exhausted. If you're exhausted, then your brain is not going to function as well. You're not going to be as alert or and be able to revert to your training, your practicing your skills. So fitness, like I say, is not necessarily number one, but definitely right there. Number two, with having the knowledge and the skills, is having the fitness. Being fit is your number one tool.
Yep, I think that's an interesting point. If you're not fit, if you're not physically capable of taking care of the situation, you do lose your mind's ability to process and cope.
Absolutely.
I've had that happen personally. I've also seen it happen a lot of times watching the different survival shows and reenactments and seeing other people in survival scenarios. As soon as you get like hypothermia, man, your brain starts going fast. So on a less intense scale, when you get exhausted, you don't think straight. Often many of us walk into a room and we forget what we walked in there for. The more fit you are, the better your blood flow, the better everything else is working, the more sharp your mind's going to be. And so you're not going to forget all the time. What did I go in that room for? Oh yeah, wait, what? A stapler. Yeah, no, I don't need a stapler. Why are we going into the other room? Why are we doing the things we're doing? We need to be mentally awake, and to do that, you've also got to train your mind.
Absolutely.
But it starts with putting the right stuff in your body. Start cutting out those fast food runs, or cutting down. I hate the whole cold turkey thing. I'm not a big fan of it.
Some people can.
Some people can do it.
Yeah.
Those people are crazy. I think if you overshock your body, it's gonna fail. And I think that because of past experience and all the people that I've talked to have done that. What we need to focus on is trying to adapt our lives to be more responsive to anything that can happen. And to do that, it takes daily practice.
Yeah. You need to be consistent. It doesn't have to be heavy duty, hardcore, but be consistent. So here's a few things that I do every day, or at least I try to do every day. I know we all have busy schedules, our full-time jobs, our passions, and so forth. And I think it just needs to be basic. It needs to be simple. Sure, if you have a gym membership, great. If you can afford a trainer, excellent. I don't care to go to gyms. I would rather have, like Scott was saying, a real-world fitness, a practical fitness. So I love push-ups, pull-ups, your crunches, your basic, squats, even whatever you can do for cardio, for hiking, and so forth. One thing I really love, and like Scott, I'm not pushing a product here, but I love my Total Gym. I absolutely love my Total Gym. Not just because Chuck Norris and Christy Brinkley endorse it, but anytime I can be more like Chuck Norris.
Endorsed it.
What did I say?
You said endorse. It was endorsed.
Oh, endorsed. Okay.
Past
I'm
tense.
just talking too fast.
Past tense.
Anyway, so the Total Gym. The reason I like the Total Gym is because I know you're good at that. The reason I like the Total Gym is that it can be low impact. It can be not really high impact because it's not that kind of machine. But it concentrates and focuses on flexibility throughout the entire range of motion of every exercise I do. But it also includes your core in almost every single exercise as well.
Right.
And I don't want to get into particulars about how it works, but I found the only machine that I like. I mean, I go to the gym and use particular machines. Like leg press, I'd rather do leg presses than use a barbell and do a press. Because that can be dangerous and hurt yourself. But find out what machines you like best. And I also like using perfect push-ups. When I do the perfect push-ups are a handle you hold on to. It rotates. It gives you more
it doesn't
range
lock
of
your
motion.
wrist into one position and
That's right.
cause fatigue. It allows you to use your full range of motion without twisting or harming the joints.
And strengthens other stabilizing muscles as well. So I'd like stick to the basics, and I think that's the perfect place to start. Do a few push-ups, do a few pull-ups, do a few crunches, get started and do it every single day, and you'll notice a difference.
Well, if we're not going to plug products, I might as well not plug the gym that I go to, Ignite Fitness, Underground. Go Jason, he's my trainer. I've seen him transform more people, and he's a true prepper.
Let's go.
He's also a former firefighter, and he's a power lifter. So he's fun because he helps you get functionally fit. And he'll yell at you and you'll enjoy it.
Yeah, now if you want to get big, you want to get bulky, that's one thing. I mean, that's...
Well, this isn't a bulky workout.
Exactly.
This is a everyday functional
endurance.
fitness workout. People lose weight because you don't need to be massive.
Yep.
You don't need to,
You don't, absolutely.
It doesn't make any sense for most of us.
Exactly. Think about American Ninja Warrior. Who are the guys that make it through the first and second stages? The lean, mean, rock climbing body types, and not these big muscle-bound guys.
My buddy Clayton Wolf made it. He's in round 2.
Is he?
He is.
Sweet. Is he a big muscle?
Nope.
Oh, sweet. That's what I'm talking about.
He's a lean, mean, rock climbing machine, adventure enthusiast.
That's cool.
He's ridiculously fit, and he's also a heck of a good guy. I got to watch the next episode to see if he makes it through the city finals.
Keep an eye out for him.
He's awesome. He's a good guy. And he's local. Go Utah. We actually have a lot of Utahns on there.
Yeah, absolutely.
And there's a reason why. It's because Utah is awesome, and it makes really good, healthy, wonderful people.
Yeah, we
just need
we've got
to
everything.
be those really good, healthy, wonderful people. And we're running out of time for this break, so we're going to jump in and remind you that PrepperCon Radio is brought to you by Survival Medical, the only medical kits that are tougher than nature. For the next 24 hours, you can take advantage of the biggest sale that they have all year, only once a year. 30% off all preparedness kits. Type in the promo code I stand the number 4 Liberty. ISTAND the number 4 LIBERTY. I stand for Liberty. Go to survival-medical.com.
Whether you're near the campsite, the office, or in your own backyard.
And welcome back to PrepperCon Radio. Thanks for joining us. We are again, of course, brought to you by Survival Medical, the only medical kits that are tougher than nature. For another 24 hours, you can take advantage of the biggest sale they have all year. 30% off of all preparedness kits by typing in the checkout code I stand the number 4 Liberty. That is I stand number 4 Liberty at survival-medical.com. And thank you, John, for doing that. That is a fantastic discount and fantastic products.
You know, we love Survival Medical. John's a lot of fun. We have him in the studio every once in a while, and he texts us, and he wanted to let Shane and everybody else know that he can work on the farm all day while also eating pork rinds. So know what your body can handle. Apparently, is the message he's trying to share with us.
Yes.
Not all of us
He's
can
done
do
this
that.
his entire life too, so he's far ahead of our level of preparedness.
Nor are most of us able to even stand
Eat pork rinds?
the texture, taste, or smell of pork rinds.
Well, he is from the South, so
He's from Missouri.
Missouri.
So hopefully we've got a guest calling in soon. Hopefully she can make it. We've got a special event that K-Talk's part of this year. I shouldn't say this year, this month.
Mm-hmm.
It's the first time it's ever been done. It's called Liberty Rising. And Shane and I are both going to be there.
Scott, she's calling in.
Oh, perfect.
Here she is. Hang on a second there. Bring her in. Yeah, turn her up there. There we go.
Tara, is that you?
This is me.
Yeah.
Fantastic. I was just about to introduce Liberty Rising.
You're on air with us right
You're
now.
on air. We're excited. This is Tara. She is the daughter of Tara Finicum, one of my heroes. And you've got a special event coming up the end of the month. It's going to be at the Boy Scout building. It's the 748 North, 1340 West in Orem, Utah, on Saturday, July 30th, right?
That is correct. And I have to have a little disclaimer here. Because the Boy Scout building is hosting our event does not in any way mean that they endorse or support what it is that we are doing. And it's unfortunate that I have to make that disclaimer, but it is what it is. I simply rented their room, and it's a business transaction. So it is the 6-month mark of my dad's assassination, and we are launching our Liberty Rising campaign, and it's going to be a fantastic symposium on land rights and the issues that we have here in the West. we have Dr. Angus McIntosh coming to speak. He was a former Forest Service employee, and as he, through the years, saw the corruption, he no longer in good conscience could work for the Forest Service, and so he resigned, and he went and got his doctorate in law and property rights. And I've been studying his dissertation, and it is a powerful, powerful document, and he has a wealth of knowledge to offer the people here in the West on how the people settled and how Congress supported their settlement. And so we also have Attorney Garrett Smith coming to speak, talking about constitutional sheriffs and the vital role that they play in supporting and protecting property rights. And we're having somebody in Utah speak as well, talking about how to recognize wolves in sheep's clothing, if you will.
Yep.
And we also have Center for Self-Governance coming to speak. This team helps teach people how to keep the Republic teams within your county or your precinct. And that is a powerful tool as well, because a lot of people, they want to know how to help, but they just don't know how to help. And so our goal and our mission is to provide people with legitimate resources to assist them in keeping the Republic and to help them become informed. Because it is, I've been studying Ezra Taft Benson, and his fear was that the people would be destroyed for a lack of knowledge.
Yep.
And I really feel that is the crisis that we are in today. We are destroyed for a lack of knowledge. We don't understand true principles of liberty.
Absolutely. I'm so excited to be part of this event, and John just texted me from Survival Medical. He too, he loves your family. I love your family. You guys are amazing. You're standing up and doing the right thing. You are truly the example of Liberty Rising. For those listening in, you'll get to hear these great speakers, but you'll also get to hear the story of Lavoy Finicum, and you'll get to hear some sweet Liberty sentiments delivered by his grandchildren.
Yes.
This is exciting to me. I mean,
Bring tissues.
I have to bring my tissues.
Yeah.
I'm a very sentimental person, and watching what's happened, the history of Lavoy standing for our rights, as well as the Bundys, as well as the other ranchers who are setting an example for the rest of us. And it's amazing how many people look at that and say, oh, they're traitors. I'm like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Are you an idiot? Are you not paying attention to what rights we're losing? And then there are other people that are going, wait, what's happening?
Mm-hmm.
Why is the BLM taking their land? Why are they no longer allowed grazing rights? When did the laws change to no longer allow that? It's mind-numbing how many people just aren't aware. And I think that's why this is so important. If you have no idea what's going on, you are the person that needs to be here. If you have a little bit of an idea, you should absolutely be here. And if you know what's going on, you should be sharing this with everyone you know to get them here for this event. It's July 30th. It's at 748 North, 1340 West. And we have tickets available online, right? They're $15 if they buy them early, or $20 at the door.
Yeah, and on our website, it's One Cowboy Stand for Freedom. And on there's a button in the top menu. It says July 30th, Liberty Rising event. You can click on that, and you'll find the online registration right there. And so I invite people to go and get your tickets before the seats sell out, because I anticipate them selling out quickly. So.
Oh, they absolutely will. I'm excited. I was going to buy mine at the door, but I'm like, you know what? I better, because I want to give more. Are you guys going to be doing any tickets? Not ticket sales, but are you going to be doing any other things, sales at the door, or can we buy, branded shirts with the Lavoie brand? Or
great idea. My mom has a wide variety of products. My dad actually wrote a novel. It got published 6 months before his assassination, and so that will be available there. And we have our cattle brand. It's the LV Bar cattle brand, and we have belt buckles, T-shirts,
very nice.
bumper stickers, things like that. So there will be things there that are available. And there is another little disclaimer that I have to say. We have to ask for donations for these products. We'll have a suggested donation value that you can donate for these items.
Perfect. Everyone plan on coming and donating.
What's the times on this?
This is one of those events that you cannot miss. I look at Lavoie's assassination as our generation's shot heard around the world.
Mm-hmm. Could very well be.
I've heard that. I've heard that from many people saying that because he was such a God-fearing, competent, virtuous man, the fact that he was shot 3 times in the back while his hands were up in the air in surrender is shocking the conscience of many Americans across this nation. And so it is the shot that, I mean, we've had people even out of our country reach out to us just expressing their condolences, and they're just outraged with the authorities here, and they can see the tyranny that we are suffering. And it is time to wake up and get out of our delusion that all is well, and that we the people need to put this dragon back in its box where it belongs, and that is our responsibility to do.
Yeah, it is the people's responsibility. You know, it is our duty as citizens of America, as free people, to take back our country, to take back our rights, and to take back our liberty, because it is fleeting right now. We're losing it, and we're losing it. It used to be quietly. Now we're losing it blatantly and in front of our faces. The media is covering it and saying, "Ha ha ha!
We're taking it.
We're taking it. What are you going to do about it? Nothing." And that's what they're telling us. So you need to be at this event, everybody. And I'm going to say it again. One cowboy stand for freedom.com. Go buy your tickets right now. Let's sell this one out. Get your friends and family involved, because they need to understand what's going on with our rights. They need to understand the federal government's overreach and taking our land and taking our liberties. You know, the Bundys are still in jail right now, in solitary confinement, because they were protesting with Lavoie.
And that's torture. That is true torture. Solitary confinement is a form of torture, cruel, unusual punishment, which again the government is outstepping their bounds and not following the Constitution by cruel and unusual punishment to these excellent, great men.
Absolutely.
Yes, and they're being denied their constitutional right to be innocent until proven guilty. They're being denied their right to a fair trial. It's outrageous.
It truly is outrageous.
It is sickening what is going on, and to see liberty rising is the sweet and beautiful thing that can help restore that. Ladies and gentlemen listening to the sound of my voice, get involved in this event. Don't just put off what you've just heard. Get involved. Understand what's going on. Our rights are being stripped from us. And you're sitting there on your couch, you're sitting there in your car, and you're sitting there at work, and you may be nodding your head saying, yeah, I agree. But it's time to act. It's time to do more than that. Get to this event. Share the message. Tell all your friends about it. Tara Finicum died for us, to wake us up. He knew what was going to happen. I absolutely believe that. Watching all of his interviews, I know he knew what was coming. He put it on the line. He put everything on the line to help us understand what's being taken away from us.
And I think if we get to a more spiritual sense here is without getting, I guess, too religious, is we all came from heaven. I think most of everyone who believes in God believes we came from heaven. And there was a battle in heaven for our freedom to choose, our right to choose. Excuse me. And that battle continues today. And if we're not battling here now in our physical bodies, then we have done a great disservice, disjustice to our entire existence, to what we did before, where we lived in heaven and fought against the evil, to come here to earth to continue to fight against evil. And that's what this is really all about. And I'm sure Lavoie believed these same things as well.
Yes, he did. He would often teach us children, will man be free to choose, or will he be coerced? Mm-hmm. And that's the exact battle that was fought in heaven. The freedom of agency versus being forced to do. And you are right. We are waging the same battle here on earth, and it's often done through governments because Lucifer, if you want to be religious, worships his power through government, because if he can find somebody who has excuse my language, a perverted lust for power, then he can really cause some havoc in that leader stripping the rights of individuals away.
Absolutely, absolutely, and I look forward to getting a copy. I've not read his novel yet, and I look forward to that to get a copy of that and really dig into that, because I know there's still a lot more I need to learn, and I'm just in the past couple of years of really waking up to this concept that Loveaway was so very aware of. So we really appreciate you coming on with us today.
Yeah, thank you
Thanks
so
for having
much.
me. I really appreciate being on. So thank you so much for what you guys are doing. You guys are making a difference.
Well, thank you very much. Tell your family we love them. We're here to help out however we can. Thanks again for being on the radio with us today and for promoting Liberty Rising. We just shared it on our Facebook page. So if you guys are out there in the world listening to this, hop online, get on Facebook, go to K-Talk. You'll see the link right there to go get your tickets. God bless the Finicum family. God bless America. Let's make it great again. Let's bring back the Constitution. Let's focus on our liberties. Let's focus on what we can do to make a difference. I've been in turmoil the last few months on, am I doing enough? Are we doing enough? And honestly, I don't think we are. We need to stand up and we need to be loud. We need to make a difference, because if we don't, we're going to lose our liberties. Thank you so much for being part of PrepperCon Radio and listening to K-Talk as we do this show every week. As you know, we're promoted by Survival-Medical. They're going to be there at the Liberty event. Oh man, I'm totally losing it. My mind's gone. They're going to be there at the Stand for Liberty. Please join us there. Again, July 30th. Go get your tickets now online. Thanks for listening. We'll talk to you guys next week. Thank you, Tara.
Thank you.